What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Real Estate Uncensored, where you learn how to reach people online, build influence, and attract more ideal clients. We have a fantastic guest here today. We're talking about video marketing, how to build your brand, take on more clients in your local area with video marketing, combining that with social media. So we've got a bunch of fun stuff to get into. We have a longtime friend of the show. But before we get to her, and before we get to the Evil Bald Ninja, who is with us as well on this, as this is a Friday episode, and he is in the co-pilot, the secondary co-pilot seat behind Greg, but in the front co-pilot seat, my esteemed colleague and co-host and partner in crime, all things real estate related, Greg McDaniel. How are you today?
Johnson face. It's a beautiful Friday, man. I'm sorting my tail feathers off here in Northern California. It is hot as balls, but you know what? It's going to be a beautiful day. I'm going to head over to San Francisco a little bit later, which, thank God, they developed their own natural air conditioning, so I won't have to be put into this state of continual weight loss because of the lack of everything around me. But our guest knows about this because she lives in Jacksonville, Florida. I've been to Jacksonville, Florida, and that shit is hot. It is hot. I remember
it's a new definition of hot for someone who grew up in Northern California.
Oh, dude, I remember I got off the plane there, and it was like 11 o'clock at night or something like that, and I'm like, what is this weird feeling? What is this? And I'm like, oh, that's humidity. Oh, that's right. But no, it was a beautiful, wonderful, incredible trip. Vulpinator, you look extra bald, my friend. How are you?
I'm extra agitated today, too.
Why?
Well, I got to tell you something. First of all, I always want to be behind Greg in the co-pilot seat because I got to keep my eye on him. Number one.
Don't ever say that ever
I don't
again.
trust you behind me with nothing. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I will state for the record, this is a history-making episode because for the first time since I've been in the co-pilot seat, I am not the prettiest on this show. Welcome aboard, Stevie.
It's terrible that we laughed really hard at that because we should have just gone dead silent and just agreed. All right, yeah. So let's bring in the one that Gene's actually referring to because it's definitely not Greg. Stevie Hahn. Stevie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it's an honor to be on here because I've been listening to your guys' podcast for years. So it's actually pretty rewarding for me to be.
Well, we are complimented too. That's very kind that you've been putting up with us for this long. And tell us a little bit about just when you first got into the business. Just give us kind of the 2-minute bio overview so people know where you are, when you got into the business, kind of that kind of thing, and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a real estate agent in Florida, servicing the Jacksonville area. I've had my license for a little over 5 years. I've been doing residential sales for about 3. I started out doing rentals, and I had this really cool rental opportunity. I did that for about 2 years. And honestly, I got stuck doing that because I just wasn't confident enough to help people with their residential home. So rentals felt really comfortable. And then finally, after 2 years, the company I was working with, I was making a commission and people were working for them and making a salary. And I had outgrown them and was making more money than the people who were salaried, right? So after the almost 2 years working with them, they gave me this opportunity to be one of their agents, get the salary, get the gas card, get the insurance, but it was about $50,000 a year. And to me, honestly, I almost took it because I was like, that's good money to me. But I was like, you know what? I need to suck it up. I need to get out of my comfort zone. And I just have a feeling I could make so much more money than that. And I decided to take the risk and do real estate full time. And I haven't looked back. I'm so glad to be able to say that, honestly.
Well, you know what? When you and I first became friends, I remember the fact that you had all the talent in the world, but you were scared of your own shadow. And I kicked you square in the ass a couple of times, just going like, hey, get out there, start doing the marketing, start doing some videos, start kind of letting people see your personality, see who you are, see how smart you are and everything else. And you fought me on it for a while. Tell me a little bit about how that shift took place when you didn't take that $50,000, right? And you decided to go full time in real estate. What was that? Do you remember the defining moment when you're just like, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. I'm going to go out and I'm going to be the queen that I am and I'm going to rule the world. What changed in your mindset? Because I think a lot of people need that mental shift, especially right now because of the way the world is and how upside down everything is going on right now. Everyone's second guessing themselves on everything that they do. So walk me through that.
Well, 5 years ago when I got my real estate license, I get asked this a lot. Like, people were like, did you think that you were going to do what you're doing on social media? Do you think you were going to build your business off of these platforms? And the answer was definitely not. What had happened was I started doing all these lead generating things, and I just decided to share what I was doing throughout the whole process on social media. And I was just sharing photos, though. That was no videos because I was just way too scared. And Greg, I will not forget it. I'm pretty sure it was a solid year. And I talk about this all the time because I am genuinely very grateful that I had him in my life at that time, because I felt as though he kept embedding in my brain positive things and that I needed to do video and that it was going to make my business explode. And I believed it. And I was like, I got to do this. And then, you know what? I don't think you're born with confidence. And I was so shy, so timid, insecure, quiet, all those things. And I will never forget my first live. It was so bad. I will never forget it. This is a great story. So I was at this property, and this was when I was transitioning out of doing the rentals into residential, and I went to this house, and this was when selfie sticks were a thing. I don't think anyone uses those anymore. And I was out at this property. I go out back, which I have no idea why, and it was so windy out, and I'm watching this video back years later. I'm like, why didn't I go inside? My hair was like crazy. But I have this selfie stick, and I'm so nervous, my hand's shaking. So I feel like it made it so much worse that I had the selfie stick. And my hair is blown in the wind. You can hardly hear me. I'm so nervous. The video was horrible. It was so bad. And I share it every year over and over when it pops up on my Facebook timelines, because everybody is like, wow, you have grown so much, the people who haven't known me that long. But I just think, honestly, you just have to believe in yourself. You have to suck it up. And I built confidence over time going through that process. And I feel like you have to start somewhere. I don't think a lot of people show up on video and they're like a natural and amazing besides Greg. Yeah.
I'm like, hello.
And so I think that you have
I
to
could
practice.
object to that.
Oh, shut up, Johnson.
I was gonna say, somewhere in the bowels of viral marketing, there's some outtake bloopers from your and our first videos together that I think would indicate otherwise.
There's like one blooper.
I gotta share. Stevie, I'll share with you a couple of those blooper reels. They are absolutely hilarious. But I mean, when you first started, I mean, you were. I mean, I remember you called me when we were talking. You were like a leaf in the wind. You're just shaking, and I believe you had a little bit of a beverage prior to going on camera because you were so nervous.
Oh, yes. There was one time my friend Christina and I were going to do a house tour. We were so nervous. We were like, let's go to this restaurant and get a shot. So we did like a couple shots, and then we went. Like, that's how nervous it was. I needed to have shots.
It's the great equalizer. I coach people that all the time. Have a glass of wine. Calms the nerves.
Oh. It got me to show up, and so, hey, whatever to get the job done, right?
But you went from being a leaf in the wind and shaking like nobody's business to this dominant power doing video, and it has really transformed. I mean, you have been on HGTV one time. You have another opportunity to be on it again now that I saw you post on some stuff like that. So your trajectory in business and in life has radically transformed since you took the bull by the horns and you said, I'm not going to allow this fear to dominate me in my life and my business anymore. I'm going to dominate it. So what was the first transition that you did? So you started doing Facebook Lives, right? When did you jump into Instagram? When did you jump into TikTok? When did you jump into all these other platforms? Because I think a lot of folks are kicking the can down the road a little bit in regards to doing this more and more. Hey, and I got two hands raised right now, guys. I'm with you. By the way, Stevie, you didn't know this, but the other day I started promoting our new listings on Instagram stories, and guess who popped in my brain? You did. And I'm like, who's doing this on a big level? Stevie is. If Stevie's can do it, I can do it. And so that you were the inspiration for me to post on my Instagram stories from all that you're doing. So to you, my friend, I say thank you.
That's awesome.
Gene, let's talk a little bit about how, if people are someone like where Stevie was several years ago, what could you as a marketer give as an idea of kind of creating this content and how to spread it out the best possible way?
Well, we talk about this all the time, right? First thing is just do it. Get out of your own way. I think I would be willing to bet that Stevie would agree with me that after the first one, the rest became a lot easier, right? The first one's always the toughest. And people are always worried about, like, I'm too nervous. I'm going to be shaking like a leaf. My hair doesn't look great. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing it. And here we are. How many years later now have you been doing this?
5 years later.
5? Wow. And I said, before you got on, Greg said, do you know Stevie? And I said, I feel like I know her because I follow her. So, like, I see your stuff all the time. I'm constantly watching. We've had a couple conversations via Facebook Live, Messenger, I think. But other than that, I've never talked to you before. But I feel like I kind of know you. I know your business. I know where you're at. That is because you got on and had those couple of shots the first time.
Yeah, that's the beauty behind all of it, though, really, is that I'm going to listing appointments and I'm not even having to do listing presentations. It's just I'm doing a tour and we're signing the docs. So, and same thing with buyers. They feel like they know me already. I'll meet up with people and they'll be like, how's Goldie doing? And then, which is my dog, and I'm like, it's just crazy. And I just think that there's so much opportunities out there. Honestly, it's changed my life personally and professionally. And the people that I've met off these platforms, the opportunities, the business, it's just when people say that they're just like too scared, and I'm just like, I want to strangle them. Come on, we can do this. Let's go.
So wait, I want to ask you a question real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there. I don't. This might be something I'm springing this on you, right? So I'm interested to hear this, but if you can't answer right now, we'll come back to it. But I always say there's something called unintended consequences of video. So I put a video out one time talking about my father passed away like 26 years ago. The video was about gratitude. The unintended consequences was I had 14 people contact me privately saying, put on your seatbelt. I was driving. Put on your seatbelt. You have daughters. Yeah, it was crazy. I just happened to be in the car jumping to get something to eat, and I didn't put my seatbelt on. But and just all these crazy things started to happen. There were these unintended consequences. Have you had any crazy unintended consequences happen from a video that you did that you were just like, oh, that wasn't the result that I intended, but I'll take it? Anything like that?
Okay, so I feel like I have so many amazing cheerleaders, and I don't really experience any negativity or haters, but I will not forget this one time. I made this Facebook post about something, and people, and this was probably 3 years ago, people took it completely the wrong way. And I had made this post, and then I looked at Facebook like hours later. I had a call from my broker. I had these nasty messages from realtors, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And I had to explain myself, and then they understood where I was coming from. I just reworded it incorrectly. You know what I mean? And that was interesting.
Well,
I'll never forget it. So now I try to choose my words wisely, right?
Yeah. I mean, once you start getting to the level where you are and where you're going to be going in the future, you will have haters, that they're going to try to drag you back down. And that once you start getting that kind of interaction or reaction to what you're posting, and again, Matt and I made a very clear decision that we were not going to cross certain lines when we have certain discussions on this podcast, because we know that there's going to be implications. There's going to be ripple effects from what we say here and what we say in the future and everything else. And so I think the lesson that you learned was a very powerful lesson. And thank God it only happened once. You know, you put your hand on the stove and you're like, not doing that again. Yeah, and you decided to, change course. But a lot of folks, especially in today's climate right now, political, racial, everything else, people are so highly sensitive. It seems like no matter what you say or what you do, someone's going to get offended. But you have to understand that if you, like what you're doing, Stevie, is you're walking your truth. You're doing what's true to you. So if you're hanging out with Goldie, if you're doing real estate, if you're drinking the Starbucks or whatever you're going to be doing in your day, that's your truth. And as long as you own your truth and whatever that is, there's power in that. Wouldn't you agree with me?
Yeah, and I'm not for everybody, and I'm sure people go to my social media platforms and they unfollow me, or maybe they have some thoughts in their mind. But at the end of the day, what's so great about it is that I'm attracting people who like my personality, who are really like me, and they want to work with me. And that's the best kind of clients that you can have, in my opinion.
100%. Matt, are you seeing the same thing with your other clients that you work with in the podcasting business in regards to them kind of walking their truth and kind of being brave like Stevie has been, doing the videos? Kind of what's your thoughts on that?
I have many thoughts. I will limit myself to one, which
Please.
is what Stevie's talking about in the sense that, rolling into what used to be a listing appointment consultation where you used to have to persuade people to sign up with you, and then it flips around to taking a tour and signing the paperwork. Like that's one of the things that I hear the most from people who have podcasts or have active social media accounts where people are getting to know them consistently, whether it's doing live video through Instagram or Facebook, or whether it's having a podcast. The phenomenon is the same. People just get to know you. And as long as you're good at what you do and you're consistently visible, you're going to get a lot of low-hanging fruit, which is the people in your world consuming your content, getting to feel like they know you. That's going to build trust. And like Seth Godin says, like the web is such a untrusting place right now. That's part of why there's so much hostility and negativity. And then it's a whole a very unvirtuous cycle. The more negativity there is, the less trust there is. So when you put something like that, when you're doing live video where it's super raw, super authentic, you're just being yourself, like you're giving people a window into who you really are. And that's where that trust is built. And if you do that consistently and you're good at what you do, and unlike Greg, you don't let your cats scratch your nose consistently all the damn time.
Hey, I think it wasn't a scratch, it was a stab.
Scratching his nose right now. But if you put that type of content out consistently, it's going to give people a chance to get to know you. And if you're good at what you do and you are a trustworthy person, the end result of that is going to be people trust you. And I was talking about with one of my marketing friends the other day, once you've got the trust and they understand what you do, the only other thing you need is timing. Right? So that doesn't mean you're going to get a stampede of people that go, hey, I need to list my house with you today, because it may not be the right time for them. But in 6 months, when it is the right time for them, if you're still the first person that comes to mind and they trust you, then they've already basically made the decision. It's just a matter of time. So to me, that's the power of doing something like that, whether it's a podcast or live video. Just keep on doing it, because you're going to start seeing that type of reward in 6 or 12 months. But other than that, I have no thoughts on the matter.
That would be like piggyback off what you just said. During like all these crazy times with COVID, a lot of realtors that I've been speaking to, their business has come to a halt. And
Right.
I think that a huge part of me not stopping is there was a lot of uncertainty, and I had a lot of unknowns. But at the end of the day, I felt as though I'm still going to keep showing up. I have people under contract. I'm still trying to get them to closing. I don't know what's going to happen here in Florida, because at the time, Michigan, New Jersey, 2 other states had completely shut down, and I didn't know if that was going to happen here. But I just felt like I don't know. So we just have to keep going with the motions and just do everything that I can, what is in my control. And so I kept showing up on social media and doing what I normally do, which is sharing all the behind the scenes. And I was very positive and happy and hopeful and still having closings. And during this whole time, over the last couple of months, I'm still getting leads off LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And I think it's because I'm still showing up, I'm still being me, and I'm very positive. I'm not bringing any negativity out there. Don't you think?
Yeah, Stevie, what you said right there is the most important thing, is that you just show up. People are so concerned about like, oh, I got to try this thing or that thing or whatever else to get leads, when you literally just get up in the morning, put your pants on, get in the car, go to the office, and you do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you do it every single day. And guess what? You get more business. But people don't see that consistency in anything that you do, right? So consistently drinking enough water, right, can help you lose weight and help your body feel better. Consistently, doing videos will help you become more visible, therefore become more, kind of the go-to person for real estate or anything else. It's just showing up. And you can have a bad hair day. You can have a cut on your nose, like I have a cut on my nose right now from this stupid furry terrorist. Where's his ass?
Yeah, people don't care. They don't care. I didn't even
Nobody
notice
cares.
until you told me.
Matt pointed it out, you jackass. Making me look bad in front of our guest. Shit. No, I'm self-conscious. So, Stevie, let me ask you a question here. You're on all these different platforms, but there's a platform that a lot of people kind of dismiss. I've been kind of looking at it more and more, and I see more and more value in it. But you've kind of dove into TikTok a little bit, and talk to me a little bit what kind of like how that decision was, kind of what you're seeing from that, and kind of what your experience. And she's smiling from ear to ear, guys. You can't see that right now, hear that, but walk me through kind of what your decision was and how that works, how that's working out for you.
Well, I don't really have a lot of experience. When this whole COVID thing started was when I actually downloaded it for the first time, and I started making videos. And this was when we were actually like quarantined for those 30 days here, and I started making videos, and I would take those videos and put them on my Instagram stories, and the engagement was wild. And that's what I want engagement. And I feel as though I loved the voiceovers. Like I wasn't into the dancing ones. I wasn't doing routines in my living room. I was like doing the funny ones with voiceovers, and I would share those, and I think it was actually really beneficial for me because I feel like it showed me being silly and more of my personality, and people were able to engage with that instead of constantly like out showing this property at this closing, doing this deal. And so I thought that was really beneficial. But there is a realtor here in Jacksonville that has been consistently showing up on TikTok every single day, and she's been sharing screenshots of people reaching out to her saying that they're wanting to buy, they're wanting to sell. So it's obviously, can work for you.
Interesting.
In different ways.
We've talked about TikTok.
I'm curious a little bit on because I spotted another person talking about making Instagram as a subset of social media, just using Instagram as an example, making sure that people understand that all the action goes down in the DMs. And I'm curious if you found that that's the same for you, and if you do anything specific and intentional to tell people in your posts or in your videos, hey, DM me, if you want to carry on the conversation or have questions about real estate. Do you find people naturally reach out to you, or do you have to tell them what you want them to do as the next step?
I think people naturally reach out to me, and to me, I'm all about being social on social media. Like, I don't care about the number of followers, the likes, the comments. I really want that engagement so that I can engage back with them and then see their profile, comment on their things, like their posts, and really build. The main thing that I'm all about is taking these online platforms and building meaningful relationships in person. So actually saying to that girl, hey, if you want to get together and talk coffee, I know you've got a side hustle or your business, or do you want to go to yoga together? I'm always doing networking events or some kind of event and inviting them to that. And actually, it's just so much more meaningful to just take it offline and actually meet in person. And that's where I feel like that's what's really helped me and helped these relationships blossom, because now they see I'm a real person. We get to build a friendship, and that's how you get the referrals.
You make a very, very, very strong point there. A lot of people hide behind screens, like these little screens that we all love, our iPhones, our whatever, Androids, our computers, and we don't ever want to engage. And you've done such a fantastic job with that, is that you said, hey, I really enjoyed talking with you. Let's go get coffee. Let's go do yoga. Let's go to the beach. Come walk Goldie with me. You got a dog too. Let's go do something in person. And people are always like, oh, I need to get leads. When in reality, you flip the script and you're like, I'm going to build relationships relationships. And like Matt and I talked about this, and Gene and I, well, all three of us started talking about this in the beginning of the year. It went from like lead generation to relationship generation because we've lost that subtle art of actually being a human being. I had an opportunity. I sent out some DMs to some folks a little while back, and I met up with a couple of different folks for dinners and everything else like that. And it was such a great opportunity to reignite that relationship. Just meet the human being behind the screen, and it honestly was some of my favorite times. And then the whole fucking world shut down, and we couldn't go anywhere, and California is complete ashtard, and they have now decided to make us wear masks everywhere we go, which is it's like wearing a condom after sex. It's like, what the fuck? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, how in the hell are you supposed to stop an airborne virus? It's not airborne, but you're supposed to wear a mask. And don't get me started. But the thing is that you I mean, don't get me started past where I started.
I think it was just a very vivid, visceral example that I hope to never enter my mind again.
Yeah, I talked to a guy yesterday, another agent of mine, and I'm like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, oh, man, I'm sitting pantsless right now. I'm like, ew.
Did not
Why?
need to know that.
And I'm like, you just put an image in my mind I could never unsee ever again. Thank you very much. But Stevie, tell me too much information. Stevie, tell me a little bit about the first time you went out and you had the coffee with someone. What was the interaction like, or any kind of in-person interaction? A lot of folks are scared of being person to person, because they're afraid of the rejection. How'd that work for you when you first stepped out there?
Okay, so my favorite book of all time that is literally life-changing is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's all about asking questions. People love to talk about themselves. So when I meet up with somebody, I just ask them about them, where they live, where they're from, their kids, what do they like to do for fun, what trips have they gone on. I just ask question after question after question. And yeah, they'll ask me questions. And the thing that always ends up becoming a topic is, and I'm not even bringing up real estate, but they'll be like, oh my gosh, what about you and your job? It looks like you're killing it. And that's when I can mention a couple things, how I love it. This is, I love what I do. And a recent situation that happened, a girl that I went to high school with, I was like, hey, do you want to grab brunch on Sunday? She's like, yeah, sure. We went and had brunch. And afterwards, like at the end, she was like, hey, I've got this condo. My tenant's moving out at the end of the month. Would you be interested in listing that? And I was like, but I bet if I did not meet up with her, she would not have reached out to me. I hadn't talked to her since high school. Like, that would not have happened. But if you meet with people in person and build that actual real friendship with them, it goes a long way. And something that I did during all of this COVID, because we weren't able to get together, right, is I had back-to-back Zoom meetings. A huge part of my business is realtor referrals, because I connect with realtors all over the country. I host a mastermind call every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and these realtors hop on there. And what I did was, and I'm like, I need to keep doing this after all of this, but I got on all these Zoom calls with realtors for 30 minutes. My days were so busy with these Zoom calls because everyone signed up, and I got to build that relationship with them, where before we were just talking through, DMs and Messenger, and now we got to actually get on a video call with, people all over the country. But then also people that, we weren't allowed to go anywhere. Nothing was open. So people that I, normally would see, or I hadn't seen in a while, hadn't even seen in years, I was like, hey, you probably got some free time. We should just hop on a call, have a glass of wine together, and we'd get on there for 2 hours. And we would have never done that if all of this didn't happen. So honestly, I have built up so many more relationships during this time. I didn't even have to go anywhere, and I didn't even have to spend any money.
I mean, you can be like Gene. You can just sit in your underwear and do podcasting. It's just
but I don't apologize for that. I won't apologize. Can I start a new segment right here? Are you okay if I start a new segment?
Of course you can.
All right, so I got to ask permission first, since we're talking about listening to people. So I want to talk to Stevie for a second. Is your TikTok profile public?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I pull something up from your TikTok thing on video, you're okay with it?
Yeah, I don't care.
This is gonna get weird.
So no, it's not. No, it's funny. So this segment is called "Explain Yourself." Right?
All
And here's what I want you to do. See if you can see this.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay, so
what's going on here?
Yeah, so Gene, explain what people are if they can't see.
I
What
know.
are they
I don't
looking
even remember.
So
I think
this
it
is
was. Gosh, I don't even have the app on here. I can't even
how about
remember.
I'll give you a little hint. So for people that can't see it, it's a one of Stevie's TikToks, and she's holding a White Claw, right? And it says something about Cardi B.
Okay, so I think this was something about being upset about the coronavirus, and I love the Cardi B voiceovers. So I can't remember exactly what she was saying, but I remember it was funny.
Well, it is funny. So when you were talking TikTok, I went out and found you, and I was like, all right, let's see what's going on in this one. And I was
Yeah,
like,
I wish I
oh
had
boy.
audio because that'd be really funny.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to do it because I feel like it's Cardi B, so there's probably stuff worse than what I don't know if it could be worse than what Greg says.
It can't be worse than what Greg has uttered.
Yeah, you're probably
what's come
right.
flying out of Greg's mouth on this show. But understand it may be compressed into a smaller time frame.
Right.
I only speak the gospel truth from the Lord Heavenly Father, his own lips. Okay, I never say anything that's controversial or derogatory. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay,
That's a true story.
Exactly. Oh my God. So Stevie, let me ask you this. So you mentioned that you're getting leads from LinkedIn. You've got leads coming in from Instagram and different places like that. You're tinkering with TikTok. So tell me just a little bit about your daily, let's say, posting schedule. Do you post when you feel like it? Do you always post something every day, everywhere? How do you think about social media and just making sure that you're actually staying present in the places where you want to be?
Yeah, so I don't think that I put a lot of thought into it like a lot of people. Like they really overanalyze that photo or that caption. And I'm really sharing things all throughout my day on Instagram stories. And my posts are typically something that I did that day, or I don't find that posting photos of houses, you don't get that much engagement off of it. I really just try to do as many personal things about real estate. And with LinkedIn, it's a little bit different. Like what I'm posting on Instagram is different than what I'm posting on LinkedIn. It's a lot of market stats, houses, articles. But I definitely don't have a set schedule of certain days, certain times. I don't want to overanalyze it. I don't want to think about it too much. I just want to post and get that content out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that some people struggle with the overanalysis. Some people struggle with the paralysis of fear. Everybody has like a different issue. But yeah, if you're going to do stories, it seems like that's the best way to do it, is just to get in the habit of integrating it into your day. That's what I hear from some of the people that are the best at it. And then are you doing anything differently on, let's say, LinkedIn? Like what's your strategy there?
Well, yeah, like I'm sharing articles on there.
All right.
Instagram, I'm not going to share an article on
Yeah.
that platform. I feel like Instagram's a little bit more casual, laid back. I can be more myself, more of my personality, but I still show it a little bit on LinkedIn. Like I've gotten my highest listings from LinkedIn, and I think that not that I'm posting selfies on there, but things like in properties and houses and like lifestyle photos,
Yeah.
So you're,
okay.
I mean, every platform you have to speak a different language, right? So Instagram you speak one way, Facebook you speak another, LinkedIn another way, yada yada. When you say you're posting articles on LinkedIn, are you posting an article or are you posting an article with like your take on it?
Yeah, like I'll share an article that someone has published, and maybe I'll put like one or two sentences in the caption of like why they should check out this article. But I'm just really not over analyzing it. I'm just like, I just need to pump content out as much as possible. And I will say, because I do a lot of social media trainings, and I realized that I needed to emphasize to people, because I would talk about how I post every day and I'm doing all these things, and then they would they would create content that was just so generic, like in Canva. You can do all these Instagram posts, and they would compile all these Canva posts. Or I really love Coffee and Contracts. It's a real estate agent portal like Ladies of Real Estate and Agent Crate, where they do have a lot of social media material for you to use. And I think those are great posts for like filler days when, hey, maybe I took a day off and I want to plug one of their posts out there. But I think a lot of times people take using those platforms solely as their platforms, and it's not personable. It's not showing you, it's not showing your personality, all these Canva posts. And I decided to really emphasize to people, like, that's good for like off days when you need a filler post, but not every single day. Market stats or quotes or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the days of that kind of just being able to like whip up a bunch of stuff a month in advance and then like schedule it to be posted and expect your following to grow. Yeah. I think we're beyond that. We're way past that.
I had Hootsuite for a couple years ago, and I would plan my month in advance and all these things, but then I was like, people are realizing that that's not in real time when I'm showing on Instagram stories all day. People want to see you being real, authentic, and in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had someone tell me one time, like, hey, you got to stop, posting about just posting you. They want to see what your day is, and I'm like, huh. That's a good point you just made right there. And I think, I stepped right into that bear trap, and, I was always like, selfie and like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And ultimately the views weren't there because no one really gave a shit. But if I got them involved in my life and I showed them my different chapters of my day, people really engaged a lot more. And like you were saying, Stevie, when it comes to, doing the video, putting yourself out there on a consistent basis. And guys, if you aren't following Stevie Hahn, you've got to go follow her. She's the biggest real estate agent in all of Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, she has a private jet, a G5. That thing does not pay for its own gas, okay? You've got to help her sell more homes to pay for the gas for the jet, okay? But I find myself very funny sometimes. Shut up, Matt. But what I'm saying is, yeah, makes two of us, girl. But I mean, what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to the Instagram and the Facebook and everything else, it's just being there, being real, being raw, being gritty. If you got a cut on your nose like I have right now, or a stab in my face, you know what? Show that bit. Oh my God, my furry terrorist got me again. People will relate to that, going, oh my God, my dog bit me in the butt, or my cat took a shit in my shoes, or whatever it's going to be. They relate to it.
Where is this going?
Well, if you didn't cut me off, I'd be able to get there.
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying, like, be like Stevie Hahn. Be real, be honest, be authentic, and be continuously put the content out there. And this is actually something that I'm going to start reinstituting next week. I made a decision to get back on it. I'm going to be doing two things. One, I'm going to start mornings with McDaniel again, between 1 to 3 times a week, and then I'm also going to be doing the beers and calls. And I stopped doing those because I got consumed in my own life, and I got tired, and I physically got exhausted and drained. But I got so many messages from people going like, dude, like, where are you at, man? Like, I don't see you out there. I love watching this content. Like, this helps me a lot. And so what I'm saying is, don't be selfish, be selfless, and consistently put the stuff out there, because you don't know what you're putting out and who it's talking to and who it's helping and who it's encouraging on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
That is true.
See, Gene, it went somewhere good.
It did. And you're right about that. I mean, you saw during the 30 days, whatever the hell we were doing, Challenge the Lead, how many people reached out to you and said, dude, I just like seeing you on there. Sometimes it's a good break in the day.
Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I enjoy hopping on Facebook and knowing that Greg is sitting with his butt in the seat somewhere making phone calls. Warms the heart. Warms the heart.
Oh, so I would have went the other way. I like thinking that his cat's taking a shit in his shoe.
Well, we can only dream. All right. So, Stevie, what's the best way for, especially agents that are in the audience, to connect up? Because you mentioned you get a ton of referrals from people all across the country. So where can people follow you and connect?
Yeah, so my Instagram, my handle is Sold by Stevie. And really everywhere else is Stevie Hahn. I've been trying to build up my YouTube channel, and you can just search my name and easily find it. But I have a lot of realtor tips on there and past mastermind calls.
Perfect. Love it. All right, Gene. Same question for you. How would someone connect with you? Why in the world would they want to do such a crazy thing?
Well, not doing it this week. I'm off.
Yeah,
Shut up. You're off.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
it.
That's right.
GeneVolpe.com.
Behind the scenes with.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you are, like in your area, you've got issues of people even being able to work in real estate. So you're working, you're expanding your client base. So realtors in the area, if you know people that are glass companies, for example, that can still work and have lots and lots of business nowadays. If you know someone in the glass business or in the interior renovation business, shall we say, or in the statue protection business, which I think is going to be a booming industry.
Statue protection.
Feel free to reach out to Gene because they need local lead generation.
Oh my God. Statue protection. That's going to be the title of the show. Statue
That's
protection
exactly
program.
what it should be.
Exactly. Greg, how should people connect with you?
Guys, reach out to me on Facebook. Hit me up with a DM. It's very, very easy. You'll see this handsome mug with a big microphone stuck on my face as per normal. And guys, reach out to me. I got a brand new course I just released. It's called List and Sell Like Crazy in 2020. It's a 10-part series. Amazing product. It's usually $400. I'm selling it for $300 right now if you use the promo code McDaniel. I put the link in the comments here. So take a look at that and then use the promo code McDaniel and you'll knock $100 off. Or you can just call Matt at 604-115-1152 and you can reach Matt and he would be happy to come over and wash your car, or if he's in a bad mood, throw rocks at it. Really depends.
Yeah, good luck with that phone number. I think that probably goes to some poor soul in Montana or something like that. That Greg just gave out their real cell phone number on the air. Okay, and for me, go get the book, microfamousbook.com. It's free plus shipping, so even with the shipping cost, it's a fraction of what it costs on Amazon. Or just go check out the Microfamous podcast at microfamouspodcast.com. So, Greg, is there anything that you'd like to finish off with? Is there anything we didn't get a chance to cover?
I love you, buddy. Big huggles and snuggles. That's all I got to say to you. Huggles and snuggles.
We did have a lovely conversation the other night. It was fantastic to catch up outside the show. It's been a while since we did that.
It was, man. It was a blast talking with you.
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? No, we love you to pieces. We're so grateful and thankful for all of you guys who watch and support the show. Go give us a 5-star review, not a 2-star or 5-star, because that helps us reach more people. And then, Matt, you need to do your civic duties and pick the color of the bow.
Seafoam green.
Seafoam green.
I feel like that's a repeat.
I think it is a repeat.
You think so? Oh, come
That's
on.
definitely
There's
a
only
repeat.
so
It's
many
definitely a
Crayola
repeat.
colors. I mean, come on.
Hey, Stevie, Stevie, what's the color of your brand? What's your brand color?
What is happening? Why are we picking colors?
Just pick. Tell me your color.
I guess they're black and red now that I'm with Keller Williams.
Okay, we're gonna put a
Greg.
black and a red bow on
No.
this show. What?
No, you can't let that go. You can't let. She just told you she's never watched an episode all the way through, and you let that slide.
Nobody
Oh.
sticks around.
Oh.
Nobody sticks around for that.
This must be a new thing.
Oh, that's what everyone shut the fuck up. All right, guys, we love you to pieces. Thank you very much. Gene, you're a legend. Stevie, you are absolutely an insanely awesome human being. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us and just dropping knowledge bombs and just encouraging people to go out there and be their true selves. Matt, I really want you to get your kids on diabetes medicine because, God, those kids need to live a full life. But until next time, guys, peace out, ninjas. We're gone.